Hello guys, uh, welcome you all. So where were we in the last class? In the last class we have discussed data structure used by Banker's algorithm, right? And we have just understood how to understand the snapshot of the system as given in the screen on the screen, and how to read the data and how to modify the different data structures at the time when we are solving numericals, right? Okay. After that, we have discussed, or we have described, or we have implemented both algorithms used by Banker's algorithm, which is first one will is safety algorithm. We discussed it, derived it, and after that we have discussed resource request algorithm, right? So Banker's algorithm, which uses these two algorithms, is simply a deadlock avoidance algorithm, right? So it will try to avoid deadlock in the system by simply calculating or finding any safe sequence, right? But remember that for deadlock avoidance, we must need advanced information of resource requirements of every processes in the system, right? So if we are not, if somehow we are unable to locate or calculate these advanced information, then we could not avoid deadlock in the system, right? So uh, that was the second method of handling deadlock. Now come to the third method, which is known as deadlock detection and recovery, right? So it is the last method how we can handle deadlock. And in this, what we are simply saying that uh, don't avoid or prevent deadlock, simply let them happen, and if they happen in the system, we will simply find them and try to recover from them, right? So this technique is based on the assumption that we will first detect the deadlock in the system, and then try to remove those deadlock, or try to recover from those deadlocks after detecting them, right? So in simply what we will do, or what we are doing in deadlock detection, we are simply tracking circular weight in the system. See, this is the only thing we can track in the system. Otherwise, let's say Holden weight we cannot track, because we cannot say that it is, if it is holding a process, because if there are only one or two or three or four process, then we can track them for Holden weight condition. But because in the system there are n possible number of processes running in the system, so finding out Holden weight issue for for some or for all processes in the system is very difficult task, right? So we will not go for that. What OS will do, OS will simply track circular weight. It will, because circular weight is easy to track, because if every process is requesting for the resources in the hierarchical ordered manner, and the last waiting process is waiting for the resource in unordered manner, then we can say that those processes in the which are in the line, or which are in the circle, could be identified as circular weight processes, right? And when we found them, when we find any circular weight in the system, we will try to kill one or more processes which are involved in that circular weight, until and unless we will not we will remove deadlock, right? So For that, for ensuring that above said, or for ensuring these tasks, finding circular weight and killing one and more process, what OS need to do? OS need to examine system state at regular basis to determine if if a set of process is deadlocked. It has to monitor, right? So if if it found any process, if answer is yes, process is deadlocked, then simply abort that process and restart, or we can restart after aborting that process. If no, then don't do anything, right, for that particular process. So this will be the basic system model for deadlock detection. System state will be examined periodically to find the processes to find a set of processes which are in deadlocked condition, and if we found somehow find set of processes in deadlock, we simply abort them, abort all of them, or abort one or two of them, and to break the deadlock and again restart those processes after some time, right? Now let us come to the point how to detect. How? Then there will be two cases. Case 1, when we have single instance of each resource type, right? And second case will be when we have multiple instance of each resource type. So let us understand it one by one. When we have single instance, right? This is case 1, when we have single instance. So as we already studied, or as we already know, that if we are having single instance of each resource type in the system, then what we'll use for deadlock detection, we will use simply RAG, resource allocation graph, because it is only the method which is efficient enough to find deadlocks in the system if and only if we are having single instance of every resource type in the system. So what we will do, the system model for that single instance case will be, we will first create RAG for the system or time or that particular snapshot of the system. Then what we will do, we will convert that RAG to wait for graph, wait for graph, wait for graph, and after converting, we will find cycle in wait for graph. If cycle, we will find cycle yes, that means there is deadlock, right? And if not, we will not find any cycle in the system in wait for graph, then we can say that there is no deadlock. So this will be the system model for single instance case, right? So let us, for example, let us say we have RAG of systems, something like that. R4 P3 R5 P4 R2 P1 and R1. Okay, so let us say for at time any time stamp, either it is T0 T1, we have RAG of that system is something like that, right? That P1 is waiting for R1 and R1 is held by P2, right, engaged by P2, and P2 is requesting for R4 and R5, and R4 is engaged by P3 and P3 is also requesting for R5, and R5 is engaged by P4 and P4 is requesting R2, which is already engaged by P1. So there is a circular wait, right? You can easily identify it that there is a circular wait. Now we have to convert it to wait for graph. So for converting wait for graph, what you need to do, you need to or collapse remove all the nodes representing resources and collapse their edges, right? So for converting it to RAG to wait for graph, what you need to do, you need to remove all resource nodes and collapse their edges, right? So if we remove all the resource nodes, what we'll find, then we'll simply uh, find that this will be deleted, this will be deleted, this will be deleted, and this will be deleted. So this will be let us draw it by dotted line so that it would be understandable that it is a rough type work, right? And because there is a path, that means it will be connected from it, and there is a path and it will be connected is like this. And because there is also a path via R5 from P2 to P4, then it will be connected like this, and it will be connected like this. So we are simply removing all the resource edges, nodes, and collapse all their edges, right? So the resultant wait for graph for the same RAG will be P1, we can draw it like this, P2, P3, P4. So it is it will look like something like this, right? P1 to P2, P2 to P3, P3 to P4, and P2 to P4, and P4 to P1, right? So this will be our wait for graph. Now what we have to do, we have to find, or we have to simply find cycles in it. So we will check wait for graph. Is there a cycle? P1 to P2, P2 to P4, P2 P4 to P5. Yes, there is one cycle here, this one, and P2 to P3, P3 to P3 to P4, P4 to P4 to P1 and P1 to P2. So there is also again a cycle here also, second cycle. That means we are finding two cycles here. That means all the processes, we can ignore this cycle. If we are having larger cycle in the system, in the wait for graph, then we can say that P1, P2, P3 and P4, all the processes in wait for graph are deadlocked, because we are having a cycle which consists of all these four processes. So that means what we can say, that P1, P2, P3 and P4 are deadlocked. So we came to conclusion by checking cycles in wait for graph and found that P1, P2, P3 and P4 are deadlocked. So this is how we simply find deadlocked process in a system where we are having single instance of every resource type in the system. Now come to the second case, which is when we are having multiple instances of every resource type, right? So it is the same bank safety algorithm we have used earlier, but minor difference in it, right? So our deadlock detection algorithm will be something like that. Let us write there its step: deadlock detection algorithm. For multiple instance, we have deadlock detection algorithm, and the steps are as follows. Step 1, simply we will have work, which will be vector of m, finish, boolean variable finish, which will be vector of n. That means it will be a array of boolean variable. Now we will initialize, as we did in previous algorithm. We will initialize work with available, right, as we did in previous case. Now here is the change from previous algorithm. Now we'll check if allocation of I is not equals to, remember, it is not equals to 0, then we will set or initialize finish of I as false, right? else 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 if it is allocation of I is 0, then we will set finish I equals to true, right guys? Now the algorithm comes to second step. Step 2, as the same in previous algorithm, it will simply find I such that both, remember both is written here, both A for which I finish I will found false and request of I is less than equals to work. See, in the previous algorithm, here we were having need. Now we are having request. So this is the difference, little difference in both algorithm. If no such I, in case there is no such I for which these two conditions are true, then if no such I exists, then directly go to step 4, right? Now at step 3 we will update work as work plus allocation of I and finish I equals to true, equals to true, and then we'll go to step 2. Next step 4. Step 4 will be if finish of I is false for some I such that such that 1 is less than equals to I and I is less than equals to n. And what is n? N here is number of processes, right? You need to remember what is n and what is m, so that you will not be get confused when we are using those in algorithm, right? If this is the case, then we can say system is in deadlock state, deadlock state, and for which I is for which I finish I is false. That means that pi is considered as deadlock processed, deadlocked process. Fine. If you are finding finish I equals to false for p1 p5 and p6, then p1 p5 p6 will be considered as deadlock process. That means due to these three processes only deadlock occurs in the system. So we have to either kill them all or only kill any one of them, right? else 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 simply system is not in deadlock condition, deadlock condition. So this is the similar to our safety algorithm as we discussed in previous case. avoidance algorithm. But in case of deadlock detection algorithm, we have little change. Let me highlight the change from safety algorithm and it in it. So there is change in this part from previous safety algorithm. There is change in this part from previous safety algorithm, and there is change in this part from previous safety algorithm. So this for single instance, for case of single instance case, we have RAG, and we will first make draw RAG for the system, and after creating RAG, what we will do, we will simply remove all the resource nodes and collapse their edges, and we will generate wait for graph by doing or by removing all the resource nodes and collapse their edges, and we will generate wait for graph which will consist of only processes, right? So process nodes, right? And after generating wait for graph, we will simply find any cycle in it. If we are able to find any cycle in it, that means those processes which are participating in cycle means simply participating in wait, circular wait. What it means, it simply means that those processes participating in cycles are deadlock, right? So but this method works only when we are having only single instance of every resource type in the system. But in case, but when we are having multiple instances of resource type in the system, then also we can use RAG, but then we cannot say like after generating wait for graph, and we may find any cycles in wait for graph, then we are not sure, will be not sure about that this will be deadlock or not. We will be in dilemma that there could be, or there may be, or there may not be deadlock in case of cycle we found in the wait for. That's why we will not use RAG for multiple instance cases. So for multiple instance cases, we are having deadlock detection algorithm, which is similar to safety algorithm, which will work similarly as safety algorithm do, but with a little difference, right? So what are the difference in both the algorithms we are having is being highlighted with yellowish color, right? Right, so this is all about deadlock detection part. Now come to the recovery part. Once, as we already discussed in the same class, that once we are talking about recovery now. Recovery, right? uh, so before starting recovery, you need to detect it. So we have detected using above said algorithms or methods. Now once we find deadlock, there could be there can be following methods for deadlock recovery, right? And what all are those methods? First one is kill all, second one is checkpointing, third one is kill processes one by one, and last case, fourth one is preempt resources. Preempt resources. Right. So once we found in deadlock in the system, we can have these four method of recovery. Right. First one is kill all. So what? Let's say uh, we are having P1, P3, P4, P7 deadlocked process or participated in deadlock. What this solution is saying, it is saying simply kill these processes all. Kill all these processes, right? Kill all these processes in single time, right? That means if we are killing these processes, that means we are killing deadlock. So killing all processes is the simplest and easy to implement method, right? But see, uh, this is this will be expensive in case if we are having uh, more than 50% processes in the system are deadlocked and we are going to killing them all on single click. So what will happen in the system, maybe out of those killed processes, some processes have dependency on other processes, right? Then uh, there will be a cost associated with this method, right? So we cannot say that if we are killing all these processes which which will break deadlock, may or may not disturb rest of the processes in the system. That's why whether it is a simple method, but we simply avoid it, right? Until and unless there is a uh, emergency in the system, right? Now second method we are having for deadlock recovery is checkpointing. What the checkpointing is, as you heard the term system restore, what we are doing in system restore method, system in what OS is doing, OS is simply creating checkpoints in the system at regular basis, right? Let's say one or two or three times in the month, right? After 1 or 2 weeks, right? So every 1 or 2 weeks, what OS is doing, is simply creating a system checkpoints. That means it is saving the all the backup files for that particular date and time, right? And if after system checkpointing, let us say if we may find some corruption in the operating system after 2 days, then there is the possibility that we can restore back our system on those checkpoints. So that checkpointing method is very efficient if we are checkpointing in the system, and we are using checkpointing in the system, that we will use those checkpoints to recover from the system, right? We will restore the system or restore the processes on those checkpointing. Simply it is doing, we are forcing all the deadlock processes. Let's say these are the deadlock processes, we are simply forcing them to restore all deadlock processes. We are forcing them to restore at where last known checkpoint before deadlock. Means before getting into the deadlock, what was the last known checkpoint of those processes. So we are trying to force them or trying to restore them at that particular checkpoint. Uh, let's say for P1 T0 T5 T6 and T7, right? So let us say uh, for every time slice it is storing let's say after every 5 time slices or five clock values clock 5 clock values, after every 5 clock values system is making checkpoints for every process, right. Let's say P1 started at T0 and at the T7 point it's being get involved in deadlock, right? Let's say it has been deadlocked, started to be in deadlock at T7 timestamp, right? So what we are saying in checkpointing method, we are saying that let's say this is the case for P1. Let's say we are saying, we are simply saying that for every process which have participated in deadlock, let's say P1, P2, P4 and P5, we will track back to the last checkpoint, known checkpoint of that particular resource, that particular process before deadlock condition, right? So before T7, let me check that at the time T5 timestamp T5 system has created checkpoint for P1, right? CP1, right? So at this point in time we will restore or roll back our process state, and after that first we will restore, then at second we will restart them. So first we will restore at this state, right? T5 state, right? After this state, when we have restored it, we will restart from here again for that particular process, right? We will start that particular process from T5 state. So this is what we are trying to make you understand that what it means by checkpointing, right? So it is a very well known method, and OS will use checkpointing for every time in the system we are using, right? So it is the best example we can see is in the tab system restore. You may find it system restore in the Windows, right? So this system restore is a checkpointing method, right? That's why I mentioned it here, so that it will be easy to understand. So these are the two methods. After that we are having third method, that instead of killing all the processes at the same time, what we can do, we can kill them one by one. P4 and P5, we have these four processes deadlocked. So what this method is saying, first kill any one process, kill, then check if the deadlock is there or it has been removed. If it has been removed, then don't kill P3, P4, P7, right? And if it is not the case and still deadlock is there, then kill again another next process, and then check if the deadlock is there or removed. If it is not removed, then again kill another one. In the same fashion, it will kill all the processes one by one only, and every time it kill a process, it will check the state of the system. If the system state is still in deadlock condition, then it will again kill another process, otherwise it will stop there when it will found that after killing P1 it found that the deadlock has been removed, right? Okay, now fourth method of recovery we are having is preempt resources, right? Forcefully preempt resources, as we already declared uh, in the method, um, prevention method, right? So once we found that these processes are involved in the deadlock condition, then we will what we will do, we will simply find resources engaged by these four processes, right? Now once we found those resources, what we'll do, we will simply preempt without killing the processes. We will preempt resources one after another, right? What we'll do, we will preempt all the resources from P1 first. Let's say it has engaged R1 and R5. After after preempting after preempting R1 and R5, that means we are simply blocking or making suspend that particular process. After suspending or blocking that P1 and taking back its resources, we will check system state, right? If it is safe, then we will stop. If safe, then stop. Else else repeat until we may find safe, right? What it means, it will first preempt resources from the first participating process. After preemption, it will check the system state. If the system state it will found safe, then it will stop working, right? Stop preempting. Else otherwise it will repeat this step for P3. Do the same. If it is not if you mean if it's not finding, let's say P3 is holding P4 R4 and R2. After releasing R4 and R2, we are unable to find safe state, then again repeat for P4 in the same way until and unless you are not going to find any safe state, or we can say you have not broke deadlock. Do that again and again. You have to preempt resources one after another until and unless you have not broke deadlocked, right? So these these four are the possible methods of deadlock recovery. I think I made them clear to you, and this was we have understood in the class today. We have understood deadlock recovery and dead detection and recovery method, final method for handling deadlock, right? And in this we have understood how to find deadlock. If we are having single instance of every resource type in the system, then we will use RAG and we will create wait for graph, and find the cycles in the wait for graph. And if we are able to find cycles in the wait for graph, then we can say that particular system is in deadlock. Else if there is no cycle, it simply means that there is no deadlock in the system, right? We can as we already told, that we can use RAG for multiple instance cases also, but for if we are doing so, then at this point we will not be sure, will not be sure. What it means that if we find if we are having multiple instances of the resource type in the system, and we created RAG and wait for graph for the same and found some cycles in it, then we cannot say that the system, we cannot be sure about that the system will be in deadlock or not, right? So that's why we will not use RAG for multiple instance case. So for multiple instance cases, we will have algorithm, safety algorithm, similar to safety algorithm, which will find deadlocked processes in the system, and which will result, or which will tell us that which all are the processes in the system has been deadlocked, and and what we have to. And after getting the list of those deadlock processes, we will start recovery method, right? And in the recovery method, once we have found those processes or deadlocked processes in the system, we will use these four recovery method to recover from deadlock. First method is kill all. Either we will kill all the processes which are deadlocked in the system, and else we will make use of checkpointing, which is same as system restore used by Windows system, and we will simply restore every deadlocked process at the last well-known checkpoint before deadlock, right? as we uh, as we discussed here, right? As we discussed here, this one, as we discussed here, that if we may find P1 to be deadlocked at time slot T7, what, and system has created checkpoint for P1 at T5, then we will roll back that P1 to the checkpoint, and after rollbacking we will restart that particular process, right? And third method we can have, we will kill, instead of killing all the processes at the same time, we will kill them one by one, right? We'll kill first P1, then check the state, then P3, we check, then check the state, until and unless we will find that deadlock has been broken, right? Till then we will kill every process one by one, right? In the similar way, at the fourth point, what we can do as a fourth method, we can preempt resources, right? So what it means, we will release resources held by processes explicitly, right? What it means, we, let's say we are having P1, P3, P4 and P7 deadlock process in the system. Now what in the preempt resource case, what we will do, we will simply first first release resources held by process P1 forcefully, and after preempting those resources and reallocating those resources to other processes, other deadlock processes, we will check the system state. If after releasing and reallocation of those released resources, if the system, if we find that system is not in deadlock state, or we can say deadlock has been broken, then we will stop preempting the resources. Else, if this is not the case, we will simply repeat this step for the rest of all the deadlock processes one after one by one, until and unless we are able to break deadlock, or we are able to make the system in safe state, right? So these four are these four are the recovery method generally OS use whenever it detect deadlock, right, in the system. So I think deadlock detection and recovery is being clear to you, and you understood these very clearly. So guys, that's all for the day. We will solve numerical in the next class, right? So that's all for the day. Have a nice day. Thank you.